From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
wake up, wake up. Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
and this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Zaxby's
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi.
and Corey Clark.
Hello, greetings, everybody. Welcome into this special edition of Wake Up Warchant. Maybe not that special, but we're live, so that's kind of unique. He's Corey Aslan. Thanks for being here. Use the promo code below those two thumbs up of Corey Clark's Warchant 30. Gets you 30 for days of access. You're watching us on YouTube live right now on Tuesday evening. If you could hit the thumbs up button, we would very much appreciate that. If you're listening to us on a iOS, Apple device, iPhone, iPad, whatever devices out there. You see like a $550 headphones now Apple just dropped. Corey, did you see this nonsense?
How about that? They must be incredible.
Seriously. Maybe we'll actually make this show listenable if you have those. That's a joke. But yeah, if you could leave a 5-star review, that'd be super cool. We would appreciate that. And as always, we are sponsored by our good friends at Zaxby's Indescribably Good. So do check out your local Zaxby's, especially if you are in the Tallahassee area. Corey, look at you, man. You look snug as a bug with your garnet hoodie, man. How's life in the ATL?
It's good, man. I was just out practicing basketball with my son, so I had to snuggle up. It's like 41 degrees, so it's a little dicey, a little cold, but got some good work in. Went to the lab, got a little bit better.
You get some shots up?
Got some shots up, got a little bit better. So, yeah, I had a rush in here, and now I'm ready to go. All
right, good. Yeah, I've been working outdoors still. I'd actually invest in gloves because it's so cold.
Isotoners? Are they isotoners?
Yeah, OJ edition. Nice black leather. But yes, because everything there is like metal, like iron pipe bars, like for dips and pull-ups and all these different things. And like, these white collar hands aren't used to, clutching onto those things when it's like, cold. So, but anywho, no one cares about that. You all want to talk about Florida State football. We actually have a game this week to talk about, which is super awesome. Duke comes to town, 4 p.m. ACC Network pregame show with Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang, 9 a.m. on ESPN 105.9. Is that the station?
Jeff Cameron station?
Yeah.
No.
97.9.
There you go.
97.9.
105.9. You're thinking of like Boca Raton or something.
I think that might have been the radio station I worked at in Dothan. 97.9 ESPN Tallahassee Sports Monster. 9 a.m. pregame show starts. There's no show without people calling us, and this guy in particular, Gator Kirk, Mr. 757, joining us here live on Wake Up Warchant presented by Zaxby's. Gator, what's going on, man?
Let's go. Let's go.
Hi.
All right, Gator Kirk. I like it, man. It's Duke Hate Week.
Hey, they're close to me, so
That's right, man.
Show them any love. Can't show them any love at all. So at least they're going to come down to Tally. I'm not sure what the weather's going to be there, but it's been cold as heck up here. So, but here's my question. I won't hold y'all up tonight. Who has the best game this weekend? Toafili, Thompson, or Keyshawn?
Oh,
I'm gonna say Toafili. I believe in that guy. I'm gonna keep believing in that guy. Yeah, I'm gonna say him. Just because I feel like they're gonna be able to run the ball more. I trust their running game more than I trust their passing game. So I feel like Toafili's gonna shine. I'm gonna go ahead and say this. He might have a 100-yard day.
Ooh.
I have a 100-yard day because I think Travis will break a few early, and then they'll concentrate more on him. And then Toafili will, let's see if he's healthy. We'll see. We talked to him today, so that's a good sign that he is healthy and ready to go for Saturday.
What about Jay Sean Corbin, man? Does he no longer exist in your universe, Corey?
No, he does. He's my grinded out first down guy. He's my grinded out first down back. But Toafili is my guy. He's the home run hitter. He's going to get me a couple of 20-yard plus runs.
All right. Who are the other options you gave us, Gator?
Thompson and Keyshawn.
Yeah, I'm very bearish on Keyshawn. I want to see Warren go out there and go nuts. Maybe off the board, I would say poke. I'll take Warren Thompson. Let's go, Warren.
Yeah, he's going to build on that catch. Build on that catch.
Time to start mossing folks and making tough catches. And he dropped one against North Carolina State. Did he not early on? Or am I imagining that? Corey?
He might have. Yeah, he might have. Sure.
Let's get that out of our system. running.
He definitely did. Yeah, he definitely did. But he came back. He came back with a vengeance and made his first touchdown, I think, right?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder because he was like the 12th rated receiver in the country, I think, when Willie signed him. He was high up there. Like, I wonder how many of the guys in front of him had yet to score a touchdown until November of 2020. I bet he was the only one. I would guess he's the only one in the top 25 of those wide receivers nationally that hadn't scored a touchdown in 3 years. So one thing is he does have talent. He can build on that. The other is obviously he hasn't really utilized that talent much at all so far in Tallahassee.
All right. Well, since you've said it, why don't we go ahead and look at this? Let's pull it up here. Let's look at the class of 2018 wide receivers. Thompson, I think, was somewhere in the top 20. Amon-Ra St. Brown, was he playing at the Packers now? I can't keep up with these St. Browns. Justin Ross, he scored
some touchdowns.
Justin Shorter, Penn State.
Terrence Marshall, I think he scored some touchdowns, right?
Yeah, Jalen
Mark Pope. Did Mark Pope do anything at Miami?
I don't think so. But I'm sure there's some Miami fan watching us right now that can let us know. Who are these other folks?
Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, Jamar Chase, pretty good. And then Warren 14. So no time like the present to start getting caught up on things, Warren.
Let's go, Warren. Prove you belong, buddy. Prove you belong.
All right, Gator, you feel good about Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, I think all these guys. I mean, it seems we're a little slim at the cornerback position, but I think all these guys are hungry to play. They haven't played in God knows how long, so they should be really ready to rip some heads off. I mean, if you're on defense and you haven't really hit anybody, you got to be frothing at the mouth. I mean, so they should bring it. I think we got nothing to lose with trying to play lockdown corners and just bring it. I mean, nothing to lose at this point. I mean, early signing day.
Amen.
From tomorrow, and you gotta show something.
That's right. All right, Gator Kirk, we appreciate the call as always from Virginia Beach, Virginia, man. Appreciate you.
All right, thank you. You go Noles. Y'all have a great night. Y'all know the deal. Hit the thumbs up. Eat at Zaxby's. Join Warchant. Best deal around.
That's right.
Thanks for taking my call. Good night, gentlemen.
Always.
That sounded like a different Gator Kirk altogether.
Just rejuvenated, man. Something clicked.
And I don't know if I want to bring it up, but did he cuss when he was describing the weather?
I don't know.
He said cold as
heck.
Oh, is that what he said? Okay, I heard something else. Okay.
Yeah, maybe he said hell, but I think we're allowed to do that. The FCC.
No, yeah, I thought he said the other word that ends with CK, and I'm like, hey man, Gator, go for it, buddy. I don't.
Come on, Gator's got that good built-in governor on him there. Let's see what we got from Thomas Giddings. Welcome to the big show. Welcome to the winner's circle, Thomas. Give you a little of this.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Thomas Giddings. I think it's his first time in the winner's circle, dropping $24.99 in the tip jar for your guys. Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you very much, T. Giddy. We appreciate it, buddy. You're the man. You know that.
Love the show. Hopefully the transfer portal can bring a quarterback and he can bring some offensive line transfers with him. That'd be nice. They're apparently got an offensive lineman that might be coming from Louisiana Monroe, Corey. Some 6'7" tackle.
Did you look up his Pro Football Focus grades?
Nah, who cares about that stuff?
Don't take a gander at it if you want to be excited.
Okay.
But hey, depth. You like depth. You like depth more than anything, and he would be experienced. But yeah, look, the transfer portal is wide open. So have we now established, Aslan, once and for all, the rules and regulations for how many transfers they can bring in? It can be up to 20. What do we think? 27 this year total recruits and transfers.
I didn't go back and count their numbers, brah. Are you really going to put this pressure on me, man?
Oh, sorry. But you were right. Like there is a limit to how many people you can bring in. It's a total of the high school recruits and the transfers. Right now they have, I don't know what they have right now, signings. Like they have 15 commitments, 14 commitments.
Yeah, I think with the kid from Miami, Patrick Payton, but then Malik McLean dropping off, I think they're at 15. So
you got to figure what they're going to sign, maybe 2 or 3 more kids. And then the rest are transfers, right? 7 or 8 transfers. That's the route I would take. And yeah, if there's a quarterback out there that you think can help you win games in 2021, like a Mackenzie Milton, if he wants to play in Mike Norvell's offense and you think he's the right guy, absolutely go for it. And if he wants to bring some lineman friends or if he knows somebody Mackenzie Milton's been playing college football since I think Jameis was a freshman. So he's been around a while. He's developed some contacts. He's got to have some contacts out there where he can get you a lineman or two if he comes.
Those numbers aren't that bad. Not a good run blocker, our guy Sam Williams from Louisiana Monroe, but I mean, those are decent pass blocking numbers.
Yeah, just overall, App
State's one of the stronger teams in that conference. That's his highest passing blocking grade. Army, obviously, strong program. Jeff Monken.
But I guess my point is I went and looked up the Louisiana Monroe offensive grades for the season,
right?
And he was like 19th on the team. And like the 4th offensive lineman. Can't you go get their best offensive lineman? They just lost their coach. Like, why would you want to get their 4th best offensive lineman? Again, though, I'm saying that never having seen them play, knowing that PFF grades can be off a good bit here and there. I don't want to judge the kid. He's 6'7", 318. That's nice. But, yeah, you would hope that maybe you get – like, I feel like they got FAU's or FIU's best offensive lineman off last year's team.
Right.
This would be like the 4th best off Louisiana Monroe's team. Can't you get the 4th best off Colorado State's team? I don't know. But hey, beggars can't be choosers. Am I right?
You're right. Remind me to ask Coach Norvell about Lloyd Willis, because he's cracked at the top or the 2 deep at tackle. That was a guy I thought that was going to be a long-term project, so that's pretty interesting. But I mean, I guess, what are your options if you don't bring a kid in from Louisiana Monroe that's like the 4th best guy from there? You're gonna get another 3-star offensive lineman that's going to probably need a red shirt to get physically ready. I mean, you got 3 tackles that you probably like in Devontae Love-Taylor, Robert Scott, and Darius Washington. You bring that kid in, and then you have like a legitimate, physically able 2 deep tackle sort of rotation. So I'm not to your point, like not all that enthused, but hey, whatever. It's a piece of the puzzle. So
sure.
Brandon Harris throws $5 at us. Appreciate you.
Question.
We'll get you maybe just a little bit of no. You don't need any hair horn. He's asking where my baseball glove is. It's right there.
Oh, there it is. Nice.
Right here. Put a little oil on it. We got a little ball in the pocket. Rubber band around there, letting it cure or whatever they call it.
You got a game. It's like you got a game tomorrow.
I'm ready, dude. I feel maybe we can do some long toss if you come into town this weekend, Corey.
I'll be in town. Maybe I can hit you some grounders or something.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm ready, man.
It'll just be like I'll treat you like I do Brady when we go to the field to practice.
Yeah, man. No
holds barred. Brandon, we appreciate it, buddy. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Brandon.
I wonder if that's his property in his avatar. If you go back to his avatar, do you think that's his property? You think that's where he lives?
That looks very swampy. I hope it's not his land.
Oh, okay. All right. It looks pretty big, though. It looks like there's water back there.
Yeah. Hey, let's go to North Carolina. Speaking of Duke, let's take a call of Thomasville, North Carolina. Captain D_63, Daryl. What's going on, Daryl? How are you this evening?
Hey, how you doing, Aslan? How you doing, Corey? Let's go. Let's beat them Pukies.
Let's go.
Let's do it, Daryl. Let's do it.
Yes, sir. Let's do it. Got a question for you guys. I know there's some, I know Dugan's and Hagen's contract is coming up this next year. And hypothetically speaking, let's say if Hagen's moves up to say front office somewhere, hypothetically speaking, Corey, who do you bring in as on your defensive line coach? And hypothetically speaking, who do you bring in as your wide receiver coach?
Hey, you're muted, Corey. Corey, you're muted yourself. Unmute yourself.
Why did I mute myself? I think I was worried about Brady yelling at me. I apologize. My answer was, thanks for catching that, Aslan. I could have gone on for minutes. Somebody that can recruit the state of Florida, somebody that has ties to the state of Florida. Those would be and both of those guys do. So you'd have to be, and I'm not certainly advocating this. I have no idea what the future holds for this staff. Nobody truly does. But if they were going to make a move, to me, you've got a lot of possibilities of guys that played this position at Florida State, played it well. It might have some ties to South Florida. I would ask, I would ask Anquan if he wants to get involved. I know he's doing other things and doing great things in the community. My first ask would be Anquan. Want to see what he's up to. And then as far as defensive line, I mean, there's a ton of options. What do you think? What do you think, Aslan? You go with Darnell Dockett? Think he could? He could relate to the kids, maybe, or Timmy Jernigan. He might be out of football now. Travis Johnson. He's got a lot of connections in the football world. There's a lot of. It will not be hard at all, no matter what happens with this staff. It would be not hard at all to find a very good replacement for either one of those positions. But I don't, you know what I mean? I just think more than anything, especially at receiver, you've got to get a guy that can bring in some talent. You've got to get a guy that can keep the best players in this state at that position from, well, I should say this state. I'm in Georgia right now. The best players in Florida, keep them in Florida and keep them away from Alabama and Clemson. You have to. You have to figure out somebody that can do that.
A year ago, we're sitting here and talking about that Odell comes with the house when you buy it, and now it's like, we can replace him, no problem.
Well, look, if that was going to happen, if he was going to take a role somewhere else, I'm not saying they should. Look, you can recruit great defensive tackles when you win a lot of games, and when you don't, they go to Clemson and Alabama and Georgia. Right now, you're not going to get great defensive tackles. It's just that's how it goes, but you can't argue with Odell's track record.
Oh, no. I'm not. I guess there's like this rumor that he's going to take an off-field support, a booster position maybe after this year. But I don't know, man. For a guy that wanted to maybe have his hat thrown in for the head coaching job a year ago, and now he's like, I'm good coaching. I don't believe that. I don't know why everyone's in such a rush to get rid of him. Not that you are, Corey. Not that Daryl is.
There is a chance that Norvell hasn't liked at all what happened this year. I mean,
I don't like what Norvell's done.
Sure. Well, that's my point with Adam Fuller, right? It's like, how are you going to fire a guy after 1 year when your team looks like this? But with Norvell and, the fact that Odell's two best players were basically ghosts the entire year and now have both quit the team. I shouldn't say Marvin's quit the team, but Marvin is not playing on the team anymore. And the other one did quit the team. Maybe maybe there's a chance that Norvell wants. I don't know. I'm speculating, and I don't want to speculate. I just do know that when they do go and replace anybody on their staff, Norvell needs to think long and hard about getting somebody that has ties to the state of Florida that can recruit, and start there. That is how Jimbo loaded that roster. He got dudes that could recruit. He did not care about James Coley and Damian Craig's coaching acumen. He cared about getting players on the campus. And they succeeded.
Yeah. Daryl, you got another one for us? You should bring two to the table.
Do you think Peter Ward would be somebody that you could bring somebody in, or is he, somebody just would be somebody he's just name only?
Yeah, I think to me, I mean, what does Peter Warwick give you that Ron Dugans doesn't give you? Like Ron Dugans has been in the profession for, I don't know, 15 years now, I think, right? Or 12 years, a good while. And, Peter Warwick was an all-time great player, but I don't know if his name resonates with 17-year-olds today like it probably should, because he's one of the best that ever did it in college anyway. But I don't know that just his name alone will do it. And I don't know what his coaching background is. I remember when they hired, is that Peter Warwick's coaching or is that Dugans?
That's Dugans.
Yeah, Dugans been doing it forever. Like he was a GA at Florida State in 2005. So, and he was at Miami, he was at South Florida, he was at Louisville. He paid his dues. I don't know that Peter Warwick has done enough coaching-wise to be the automatic choice. And I don't know that his name would resonate with 17, 16-year-old kids. But he might be awesome at it. I don't know. Maybe he can teach the stuff he did. Maybe he'll have Keyshawn Helton breaking ankles next year. That would be incredible, because I would love to see another Peter Warwick. So, we'll see. I know Peter really wanted the job, and when Willie was here. So he definitely wants to get into coaching, and he wants to get into coaching at this level. I just, I don't know if he has the connections in the state of Florida either to really break through and keep these kids from going to Alabama.
Maybe you get one of them. Maybe you get that wide receiver coach down there at IMG Academy, and get them. Maybe.
Amen, buddy. Yeah, start getting those guys. Yeah, it could be a pipeline.
There you go. All right, guys, y'all have a great evening, and we love listening to you each and every day. And you guys sign up for Warchant. Go to Zaxby's eat that wonderful food there and hit that like button. And y'all have a great evening, and we look forward to beating up on them Pukies this coming weekend. Go Noles.
That's right. That's right. Daryl, we appreciate you, man, calling us from Thomasville,
Good work, Daryl.
Carolina, here on the program. If we could just pause real quickly to show some appreciation. Willie Johnson, just the silent assassin, just shows
Willie.
Bang.
Dollar bills, y'all.
I think I need to get Scott Breen on the soundboard, right? Like a bang. Mike Breen. Yeah. I worked with a Scott Breen, big jerk.
Okay.
Like Mike Breen, though. Willie,
Mike Breen seems like a good guy. Willie, that's awesome, man. He didn't even want a question, just wanted to donate. That's it. That's really, really nice, man. We appreciate it, Big Willie.
He just drives. What if he's like 5'8", 150 pounds?
I think anybody with the name Willie, you call him Big Willie, or Wee Willie, if he's really like Wee Willie Keeler, the baseball player from the turn of the century. But I just think of Willie Johnson. That sounds like you call that guy Big Willie.
All right. Willie, we appreciate you, man. Thanks so much. Yeah, ask a question or something, Willie. I mean, come on, man.
Or tell us your size.
Yeah.
Height, weight.
Pretend it's the Jim Rome show. Weight, height. Let us know.
Yeah, like your roster, like where you're born, height, and weight. That's what we want for all these questions now.
All right, let's take another caller here. Let's take our buddy down in Napoli, Mark from Naples, Mad AMCZ, joining us here on the program. What's going on, Mark?
I'm going to bring some Gator Kirk energy. What's up, boys? Come on.
Ooh,
How about that? That was a new Gator Kirk, man. It sounded like a brother or something. Didn't sound like him.
Yeah, we're playing football again. So
Absolutely.
Funny you mentioned this, Corey. I was playing basketball with my 13-year-old this weekend. I was wondering what your go-to game is. We start off with a little around the world to get warmed up, and then we go to 21. So I post him up a little bit. And then he doesn't know what a sky hook is, so I beat him with that every time.
Oh, yeah. Mark Abdul-Jabbar. I like it. What I do is I kind of just run drills. I make him, like I do games within himself with him. Like he's got to make 5 from a certain spot so he can move on, and 5 from another spot. That's kind of what I was doing, and then I make him run wind sprints. I really did, mainly to get him in shape, because he played his first game last night. And he played well, but he's not in the best shape. So anytime he airballed something, which was more than it should have been, even on threes, I made him run a wind sprint to get, punitive, but also to get him in shape. But if we play anything at all, we don't play one-on-one anymore. I do around the world. I'll do around the world with him. We do that a good bit, which is a good game.
Yeah, if you chance it and you miss, you go back.
That's the risk.
It's awesome.
All right. There we go.
Real quick, I know you already touched on this, Corey, but I'm intrigued by this Mackenzie Milton. I know that we don't want to disenfranchise the QBs on the roster, but I did some research today, and somebody posted it on the Tribal Council. He in 2017, I think, when he was a Heisman candidate, his QB rating was second only to Baker freaking Mayfield. So I think the young guys, let's face it, our QB room is still very young. They've only started 5 games between them. Maybe awesome for them to be around a guy that can sling it like that. And I think I don't know if you've heard from Michael or whatever that he really wants to come, but even if his knee hasn't fully recovered, that's a great opportunity. And I just didn't know if you agreed.
Look, if you could get Mackenzie Milton and you can get a healthy Mackenzie Milton, then absolutely. It's not just the numbers he put up, man. He's got to be 23 years old. He's like getting close to Winky age. And I'm not saying that as a pejorative. That's a positive. You need some experience in that room. You need some leadership in that room. I think that would be, Aslan's put up the numbers right now. So in 17, he had a rating of 179, 37 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 4,000 yards. And then the next year, he had 25 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and a higher rating until he got hurt. He got the devastating injury in that game. But he's thrown for what? He's thrown for like 9,000 yards in his career, and whatever that is, 72 touchdowns. So if you could get somebody like that, he's 5'11", he's not a big guy, but that doesn't matter if he can sling it. Again, I think the issue you have is how healthy is he? He'll essentially been off for 3 years. And if you're getting that guy that Central Florida had, and it's a big if, but if you're getting that guy, then and he also ran a good. I didn't know he ran like that.
Yeah,
He had 600 yards rushing in 2017, and that includes sacks. That's
season. Show respect.
Yeah, the national championship season they had in 17. When I'm saying don't go after, I would never advocate not going after somebody like that. That guy would be a home run. I'm more along the lines of I don't think you need to go after an Alex Hornibrook type. Now, obviously not the real Alex Hornibrook either, but even an Alex Hornibrook type that's just kind of If you could get Mackenzie Milton, yeah, absolutely. And if you let the chips fall where they may. Next year's too important for Mike Norvell to worry about feelings. But I do think that if you sign a Mackenzie Milton and you sign a grad transfer quarterback, you're going to lose one of the guys on your team. That's just I don't think any of us would blame him. You're going to lose at least one guy. One of those guys isn't going to want to stay and be a fourth string quarterback. If you're good with that, and you probably should be if he helps you win games, then you're good with that, and it's worth the risk. But it's a weird situation, right? Because you do have two guys that you sort of believe in already in the room, but neither one of them are nearly as proven. Not even close, not even the same league as Mackenzie Milton when it comes to accomplishments.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, if they can be around a guy who's played at that level, I mean, let's face it, Chubba, they didn't have a spring practice. Travis has never been around a quarterback with, an elite passing ability to learn from. It's a win-win. And if he comes in sort of healthy and, gives a spark to the team in 2021, it's a no-brainer. So, okay, I'm glad you agree. I love you guys. Go Noles. Let's beat Duke.
That's right. Thanks, Mark.
That's right. Beat Duke. Beat Duke. That's a good point too. You'd get a national championship winning quarterback. But in all seriousness, you would get a guy that's used to winning. He's won a lot. In the story of him I thought he was out of football. I didn't even know he was trying to come back. For him to try to come back, the dedication it takes to come back from an injury like that, 3 years later to play. So he obviously loves the game more than anything. Man, that's something else that can seep down to the rest of the program, to the rest of the players. Whether he ends up being very good, whether he ends up starting a game, I think having that around your program would be good.
Let's take a YouTube comment. Shout out to Big Mac 3310.
Dollar bills, y'all.
$20.
Absolutely, Big Mac. Way to go.
Thanks, man. Big Mac 3310 says, what are the chances you give Fuller of being the defensive coordinator next season? Could this game and the roster challenges affect that in any way?
So do you think the 3310?
Hold on. Let me try to do a multi-marketing or dual sponsorship thing here. What do you think my bookie would set the number on Adam Fuller being back? I think it'd be a plus number. I think like plus 150.
Oh, you think so? I almost think that's a pick 'em. I think it's off the board. I think it's legit 50-50, maybe like a minus 110 for me.
Okay.
If we're going the money line, I would if you set the over under though on how many years Adam Fuller is going to be the defensive coordinator at Florida State, what would you set it at right now? Like moving forward, not counting this year.
Oh, 0.5.
0.5? Yeah, 0.5. Yeah. That's probably the number. So I would say, look, man, to me personally, I think the chances are 50-50. I don't think anything that happens in these next two games, short of giving up 80 to one of these two teams, if these games are actually played, will cost him his job. What will cost him his job is the Louisville game, the Pitt game, the Miami game. I don't think this is anything like he's coaching for his job, because I think if he's coaching, that would bother me as a Florida State fan to think that what he does against Duke and Wake could say you want to fire him, but then he does something against Duke and Wake and saves his job. If you don't think he's the right coach now for Florida State after what you've seen through 8 games and what you had all of last year in Memphis, then go ahead and make the choice, make the decision. But that said, I have no inside knowledge. I don't know if he's even leaning that way. So me personally, I would put it right at 50-50. Okay. But I was going to ask, what do you think the 3310 is? Is it an address? Did he try 3309 and it was taken? Was it a score of like a football game that he was a part of?
I think when he played hoops, he wore 33. When he played baseball and football, he was 10. Quarterback, probably.
Okay, or maybe one of his kids, like his daughter wears 33 in basketball and his son wears 10 in football or something.
Yeah.
All right, could be Sammy Smith and Derek Brooks.
Maybe that's the amount of Big Macs he's consumed in his life.
Yep. So next year, hey man, when you donate next week, I want to see 3311, 3312.
But I mean, to the point of,
Thank you very much for donating.
like what
Very
Kenny
nice.
Dillingham said on Monday about this team has got maybe some more energy, renewed enthusiasm at practice. I mean, if that translates to them playing better offensively, but they're not playing better defensively, I mean, isn't that a knock against Adam Fuller? And then subsequently, conversely, if they do play better, though, I mean, he doesn't get credit for that. Like I know what you're trying to say, but it should be a fluid situation. I still would think if you come out and you turn over Duke 3 times, you hold them under 21 points, and you hang with Wake, you only allow maybe like 28, 30 points, something like that. Wake's a really, really good offense. That at some point that has to change a little. That's a factor into the calculus a little bit because they've had such a long time off. They've pretty much had a quasi spring to go back over fundamentals and get guys healthy. That, yeah, I mean, you should see some impact, some difference from him, your defensive coordinator, in these next 2 games.
I think me personally, it would only be like it would confirm what you're already thinking.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't know that you can do a 180 over these last 2. It'd be like, man, I think I got to let him go. I got Jeremy Pruitt. He wants to come here. I think I got to let him go. Muschamp won't stop calling me, but let me see how he handles Duke. Oh, he held Duke to 14 points. Well, sorry, Will. We're going to stick with Fuller. Like I think it's more like it'll reaffirm. Like I said, I think it'll reaffirm where you're already leaning. If they play well, I don't think that would change. Wouldn't you hope that it wouldn't change Norvell's mind that much? Like a couple of good games in December against teams that are depleted and you're depleted and they feel like exhibition games anyway. I don't know that should carry the day when it comes to making a decision that important. I think, again, what happened in September and October should matter much more.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I just think it also would help a little bit of recruiting. Although, I mean, shoot, this game is going to be played.
Yeah,
and then you get 72
How
hours.
crazy is this? Yeah. They're going to have a game in between. They're going to have a signing day in between 2 games in the middle of a week. That's nuts. What a crazy time.
Yeah, perfect. They'll get Duke first, man. Beat Duke, and then hey, look what we just did. Come Tallahassee, push us.
See this? Are you watching this, guys?
Yeah. Derek Adams, shout out, dropping $20 our way. Appreciate you much. Dollar bills, y'all. All right. If you could pick one, which do you choose? Option 1, get the administration to change their stance on Randy Moss, and he is immediately eligible.
That's a wrap. That's a wrap on the question.
Okay, thanks, Derek. Let's go on to our call. Option 2, Chris Winkie does not hurt his neck in the 98 season. Or 3, Snoop Minnis is eligible for the Orange Bowl back in the 2000 season.
Here's the thing. So I think if Chris Winkie doesn't hurt his neck in 98, I think they beat Tennessee, right?
Correct.
And that's an extra national championship. If Snoop Minnis has his eligibility in the Orange Bowl, it's not I think that Chris Winkie, if he plays, Florida State has a 92% chance of winning that game. Yeah. 92-95. That's a good Tennessee team, but they almost beat him with Rooster. Yeah. In 2000, if Snoop Minnis plays in the Orange Bowl, I don't know. I think your chances are like 60%. Like, I don't think it's as nearly as automatic as if Winkie played, because they just didn't have any answers for that defense. They still had Javon Walker and Anquan Bolden running around, for crying out loud. So they still had some players. The number 1, though, you're talking about 3 national championships. You win the 95 national championship. You absolutely win the 96 national championship. And I think you win the 97 national championship, and Randy Moss wins the Heisman. So that's where I'd go for that. And we might not have heard a lot about Andre Cooper in his final couple of years at Florida State. And I think Andre Cooper was a great college football player. Randy Moss in that offense with Warwick Dunn and Peter Warwick, and Laverne. Come on, man. He would have put up, like Randy and Marshall, they could triple cover him. It's not like you were worried about Joe Smith on the other side at Marshall. Okay, we'll double cover Randy Moss and see what happens. You got Peter Warwick and E.G. Green on the other side. Come on. That would have been – that's at least 2 national championships if Randy Moss is eligible.
All right, well –
And he smoked weed. You got to cut him loose. It was worth it.
Telling the story like in 20 years to like, Brady's grandchildren or whatever. It's like, yeah, he smoked pot. It's like,
he did what? He got kicked out of, he did. Well, he had to go back to jail because of some fight he was in back in West Virginia, and that broke his probation. So he had to go back in jail, and they let him go. So that was good times.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Derek.
By the way, as dumb as that was, and I do think I've said it, that was a dumb move to make. I get it. They gave him a no strike policy, whatever, and he got caught smoking weed. So I guess that's a strike. But as dumb as that was, think of all the NFL teams that didn't draft him because of it.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean, wasn't he like the 19th pick or the 21st pick? So 20 teams passed on Randy Moss because he got into some trouble at Florida State. Maybe he got into more trouble at Marshall that I don't remember, but I don't remember that. I just remember him being awesome. He was 21st. Yeah.
Well, hey, man, when you can take Kevin Dyson, you got to take Kevin Dyson, man,
Yeah, that's the worst, right? It's like in Robert Edwards, and look at those names, man. But like a couple Florida State guys in there too, huh? You got a little, you had Wadsworth, you got Trey Thomas. But the one that's the all-timer is all those other teams could look at it and go, they could look at it and go, well, we had other needs. We didn't need a wide receiver. The Titans took a wide receiver, and they didn't take Randy Moss. Unbelievable.
Oh, man.
The Falcons took Keith Brooking.
Yeah. Dyson, is Dyson the one that came up short in the Super Bowl?
I think so, and I think he was also part of the Music City Miracle. I think he's the one that caught. Wasn't he the one that caught the pass from Wycheck?
I think so. Yeah, I'll look it up.
You could click on his name right there on Wikipedia, and it would tell you.
Oh, look at that. Pro move. Yeah, he was tackled by Mike Jones 1 yard short, recipient of the Frank Wycheck disputed lateral known.
Guys, how much do we know? It's crazy what we know. We didn't look. You saw that in real time.
Let's go.
You got to peek behind the curtain. That's what Wake Up Warchant does.
Any FSU podcasters that want to do trivia, bring it.
Sound the horn. Sound the horn for that, Aslan.
I will do it just because you said so. And let's keep it going because Mark Adamczyk just dropped $100 in the car. Let's go, Mark. Let's go. Come on, Mark. Let's go, Naples.
Merry Christmas, Mark. Thank you very much. Happy holidays. That's awesome. We really appreciate it, man. That's you always come through. You're a pillar. You know that. That's very, very nice.
Pillar. By the way, Mark, if you're still listening and watching, Zach asked last week where to move in Southwest Florida. I think Zach might be watching the show right now as well here on YouTube. If you want to give some suggestions on a fellow Nole where to live in Southwest Florida, since that's your stomping grounds, your neck of the woods, that'd be appreciated. But we appreciate you even more, man. Pillar, as Corey said, Mark dropping 100 bones in the jar. And then Ray Pereira's like, what's going on? I'm in the house too. Don't forget about me. Hey, not forget about you. Don't forget about you, Horn Gang. You know what can go wrong. Ray coming in from H-Town. Ray, what do you think about Houston joining my make-believe conference? With everybody from the old SWC joining us in Clemson and Miami, and we'll pick out Tulane, and we're just going to grab all these random teams from the Big 12. Then you can watch the Noles more often. He asked for predictions for the FSU Duke game, Corey. Let's go.
Thank you very much, Ray. That's very, very nice, man. That's it's just, again, I'm overwhelmed, legitimately overwhelmed by this every week from all you guys. I'm going to say I feel like it's a race to 40, but I don't know that maybe it's a race to 33. I'm going to say Florida State 36, Duke 27.
Okay, so they're going to cover it. Will that be part of your parlay picks with my bookie layer?
Of course. How could I not have confidence in this Florida State team? The way they played the last 3 games, they get 4 weeks off to get everything set up. Duke definitely does. Well, the thing is, Duke really doesn't want to play. Like, you could really just blow them out. But also you're Florida State these days, and that doesn't happen. So what do you got?
34-20? Well, like Duke should not score 20 points, but then you realize it's the Florida State defense, and it's like, what do you mean they shouldn't score 20 points, Aslan? They're the 110th total defense in the nation right now.
Yeah, Duke's like I know we didn't score against Miami, but man, we get to play Florida State. Let's put up some points, boys. Just like the Florida State offense is saying the same thing. Those Duke kids are chomping at the bit to get after this defense, especially after watching them on film.
I'll give the points, though. I think I'll stick with 34-20. I think, you get 3 quarters, hopefully 3 healthy quarters out of Jordan Travis. I'll get you 34 points. Warren Thompson catching balls. Pokey out there doing Cam McDonald doing some stuff. Toafili. Let's go. Yeah, I feel good about it. They'll cover. They'll cover for sure. Let's get back to the phone calls. We got 3 folks back waiting in the queue. This one been waiting especially long. Sorry about that, Wes, calling us from the Villages. He's got some names, perhaps, for us to keep in mind if there are vacancies on the staff. We like that, Wes. What's going on, man?
What's up, fellas? Having a good evening. Hopefully you're staying warm. And Corey, hopefully no snow flurries in Georgia tonight.
It would actually be kind of cool if we had them, but yeah, I get the fire's going to be going either way, Wes.
Yeah, I hear you. My rule of thumb is in Florida, we don't get snow, but obviously if it's going to be this cold, you should get snow to go with it. I mean, that just seems fair.
Yeah.
That was the beauty of growing up in Atlanta is we would get snow days like once a year. We'd get to miss school. The snow would be. It only happened once, but we'd always get snow days. So that was kind of cool. We actually had seasons up here.
Right. They don't know how to handle that up there with the roads.
No, yeah.
If it snows.
That's right.
So I had a thought for what you guys touched on a little bit on earlier call, but Eddie Gran, we know he was at FSU before. The guy's a beast of a recruiter. We understand that Dugans in the wide receiver position has been underperforming. I love Dugans and what he did for the program, but what do you guys think about Eddie Gran coming in to coach running backs and move Coach Yak over to wide receivers? And that gets you a guy that can recruit Florida and is a beast on the recruiting trail. What do you guys think?
Look, that's a good name, but only simply because, and you pointed it out because it's true, he does recruit South Florida. He was a big part of that staff that loaded up that roster 10 years ago now. I think you could. I don't know if Eddie Gran's somebody you do whatever it takes to get on your staff, but you could move some things around to make sure you get him on your staff. He's that good a recruiter. The problem is, what do you do? Where does he go? He's been an OC now for, I don't know, 8 years, 7 years. It seems like not a good one, but he was an OC. Is he going to want to do that? Is he going to want to come and be like a recruiter again? Or is he going to hold out for something better? I don't know. But yeah, man, that's a good name. If you are going to make a change, and again, this is all speculation. If you are looking to make a change on the offensive staff, that guy has proven himself time and again to be an elite recruiter, especially in a place like Florida State. It's hard to, you can look at Kentucky and be like, well, he didn't bring in a bunch of 4 or 5 stars there. Well, yeah, it's Kentucky. But look at him when he was at Auburn. Look at him when he was at Florida State. He brought in dudes, lots of them.
Somebody that there's somebody on the Warchant message board that apparently, there's a couple degrees of separation between he and Eddie Gran, but apparently says that his contact says that Gran is not going to come to Florida State, but it's super early. That's not a bad name just because of the familiarity, but and especially because of the whole South Florida connection. But yeah, I mean, Corey, you've said it so many times that you don't know how important really a wide receiver. I mean, what are you really coaching? I mean, there's getting in and out of your routes, blocking. I don't want to totally diminish what they're doing. But I guess, with Chris Thompson being your tight ends coach and you being so committed to him, receiver or running backs coach, that's the one position where you have to be an ace recruiter at it. So yeah, move one of those pieces around and figure out a guy that can come and start recruiting South Florida. Well, Eddie Gran does kind of fit that bill. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I'm not going to count on it. But
I don't mean to dismiss what they do. They do teach like technique, and they do teach blocking, and they do teach route. I mean, there is the wide receivers coach. It's not just, hey, go make touchdowns.
Running backs coach them. Running backs coaches.
But my point was that look, Florida State's best years in its history, the wide receivers coach was Jeff Bowden. Like what did he really know about playing wide receiver? And what did his acumen prove to be? When you're at an elite level, you've got to get guys, Florida State recruited itself back then, but he proved that, man, you don't really need to know the position unbelievably to bring in players and for those players to play at a high level. Peter Warwick and Snoop Minnis, Anquan Bolden, their wide receivers coach was Jeff Bowden. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about the importance of a tactician when it comes to wide receivers coach. But at the same time, yeah, you do. It doesn't mean that they don't have a job to do. They just sit there and lean on a goalpost during practice. So that was an inside job.
Nice. Well said. Well said. Well said. Any other names, Wes?
Yeah, well, it could be a early Christmas present, or on the wish list anyway. But I mean, you hate that Fuller, tough years. It's like you get rid of the guy. I mean, he's had, the season we ad nauseum about how this year's been, and getting rid of a coach first year, considering what it is. But I got a name and a guy who's been out of coaching for a while and can obviously recruit the state of Florida like nobody's business. And he's an analyst in Tuscaloosa. So Charlie Strong, how about that?
So, yeah, would he come and take this job? Yes, he can recruit. He'll bring players. The name does resonate and mean something. You wonder though, you just wonder about the dynamics of a staff, and that would be also not an issue, but something to consider when it would come to somebody like Muschamp. These guys that have been head coaches, he's the head coach at Texas. Like, are you okay having Mike Norvell as your boss? Like, it's one thing to have Nick Saban as your boss. Is Charlie Strong going to take to this guy that's only coached at Memphis and has been terrible at Florida State in 1 year, or has a terrible record, I should say? He's going to tell me what to do? Would Will Muschamp be like, hey, Mike Norvell, you get to tell me what to do? I coached at Florida, buddy. I beat Jimbo Fisher that one time. In 2000, I beat him. That was me. That's the one thing I wonder when you get a big name like that and you don't have a Nick Saban as a head coach. Are they willing to acquiesce a little bit? But hey, man, being a DC at Florida State is certainly, you would think, better than being an analyst. So yeah, that's another interesting name. There's plenty out there for sure. I'm not dismissing it. I think you certainly load up players.
Well, the guy, obviously he's got a pedigree and he's coached at, big schools, obviously what he did at Florida. So you got to believe he's going to get back into coaching at some point. And, if he came, it would only be for a season or two. So in my mind, you swallow your pride. Muschamp, I think, has got too big of an ego to work for Mike Norvell. But Charlie Strong, that guy just, I don't know. I don't get the sense that I get the idea. It would be, a dynamic, but man, think about the bigger picture. He would, he'd come here, he'd do a great job, and he'd get another big time job in a couple of years.
I don't think it's a guarantee. I would say this. I don't think it's a guarantee that he would do a great job, but I do think it's a guarantee that he would really up your name when it comes to recruiting on the recruiting trail. You know what I mean? Like, even if he didn't do a good job, I feel like he would load your roster with better players. So the next guy that comes in would have more groceries to cook with.
Yeah, that's fair. It sets you up for success anyway.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. Good names, man. Let's get the old band back together. I like it.
There you go. Hey, one last thing before I go. What do you guys think? Because the wide receiver position, we know what it's like, and going forward, some kids coming in. We lost the one big recruit, but I think we're going to get the Hill kid from Louisiana. But what do you think about Travis Jay potentially moving next year over to wide receiver?
Man, I'm almost to the point where I'm all about it. Like, I don't mind him playing both ways. Let get the kid in good shape, but you've got to have impact players over there, man. You do not want, and I thought, and they were going to do it until he blew out his knee. Look, Travis Jay is not Antonio Cromartie. I'm not trying to make that comparison, but Antonio Cromartie was such an unbelievable athlete that you feel like you wasted him for those 2 years, only getting to return kicks. Like, why not throw him some screens? Why not let him run deep occasionally and just throw it up to him? I do think they might do something like that with Travis Jay, just because you need playmakers on that side of the ball, man. Hey, we've been told it's a school for playmakers. It's an offense for playmakers. Right. You don't have a ton at wide receiver. You don't have a lot of elite athletes. I think Travis Jay, straight ahead speed, he's got some wiggle in that size, could be a real problem on that side of the ball, and that might be something that's something certainly I would think about for sure. Maybe not move him there permanently, but have him dabble where he can give you 15 or 20 plays on offense.
Exactly. My thoughts exactly. What about Love Taylor and Davion Johnson coming back next year to anchor that O-line? You guys think, what do you feel about them?
That's not what you think.
Year 7, Davion. I'm all about Love Taylor coming back. I mean, Davion, sure, I guess, when it hurt.
Yeah, Big Baby would help. I mean, it's more experience. He hasn't been terrible this year. They've been decent overall, or at least average, which has been a step up. So, yeah, I think the question is, though, will they? Norvell seemed really optimistic about Love Taylor. he hasn't mentioned one time Babion Johnson. That doesn't mean that Babion's not coming back. He just hasn't mentioned him. So, but he also hasn't been asked about him. So I would think out of the 5 or 6 seniors that play on this team, I would guess at least 2 will come back. 2 or 3, you know. They're not like they're turning down enough millions of dollars. So they might come back and try it again in a non-COVID year.
All right, Wes, appreciate you, man.
Yeah, crazier things are happening. All right, guys, have a good evening. Subscribe to Warchant, eat your Zaxby's, go Noles, and beat Duke.
That is right. Wes, joining us here on Wake Up Warchant. Sky Ninja, we appreciate you throwing money our way, even though Wes called and asked about Eddie Grand. But nonetheless, that still gets you some love. Let's take another phone call.
Wait. We appreciate it, Sky Ninja. And that's the best avatar that we see, right? And we see, look, we always appreciate the pictures of the kids or the bulldog or some picturesque view. But that picture, I think that's my favorite one. Because he's like, man, what did you just say?
I like the archways of his house. I like the architecture of the house. I like the archways. Very classy.
I do too. Yeah, I like what he's doing there. I like everything about what you got going on, Sky Ninja.
Very classy. Very classy. By the way, Redbeard, ask your question again. He said that he asked a really good question and we skipped over it. And the only questions I've seen from you are, how will Mackenzie Milton affect the quarterback room, and will we be able to build another dynasty? Not bad questions, but I don't know if there's one in particular. In the meantime, while we sort that out, let's take another phone call. 770. Looks like we got a call from Joja. Welcome on into Wake Up Warchant, presented by Zaxby's. Who's this and where are you calling us from?
Well, this is the former Mrs. Corey Clark from Buford, Georgia.
Oh, no. Oh, boy, she actually did it. I've been telling her to call in for 3 months, and she actually did it.
And who's she? She's got a name.
I figured it was about time.
Yeah, say your name, Shanna.
This is Shanna. This is Shanna Clark Bottendino.
Oh, well, we just go by one name. Shanna Clark selling my books, darn it.
That's right. That last one's too long. That won't fit.
I chuckle at it every time I hear that, Aslan.
Yeah. We're gonna say that you're from Buford. Is that all right, or should I put from Sarasota, or do you claim Buford these days?
I guess I have to claim where I actually live, but yeah, Sarasota is always in my heart.
Okay. All right. Right on. All right. So what does Corey put you up to tonight, Shanna? Or is this all on your own accord and free will?
I can't wait to hear this question.
Oh no, this is all me. I've been stewing and thinking about what could I ask that hasn't been asked, and I think I came up with it. But first, Aslan, I have to say that welcome to the club, the very special club that has to deal with Corey S. Clark on a daily basis.
Hey, this isn't the time. This isn't the time.
This is a gift.
It's not the platform.
He's a gift. He's been a godsend to me. My life has become more fruitful since he's entered it.
That's right, man. Forever changed. Both of you guys, forever changed.
That attitude is exactly how to best deal with Corey Clark on a daily basis.
Right. That's right.
A gift to your life. So,
all right, there we go. Inside knowledge. We got some insider trading going on right now. Appreciate
there
that.
You go. All right. So my question is, we've all of us have been talking about the program culture, and we cringe at that word, but basically since 2014, and that's been a long time. And in that same amount of time, we've also heard great things about Leonard Hamilton's program culture, and not just among the fans and you guys, but around the country. He's well regarded. So it seems like he knows how to recruit players who take pride in themselves, take pride in their school, take pride in how they play, and come to school to learn how to be better basketball players, and better men, and then hopefully go professional.
Shanna, I hate to interrupt. We're out of time. Just cut it off, Aslan.
You're Darth Vader on my screen. So I won't keep talking. So I think to myself, I wonder how somebody like Norvell can learn from that, because obviously that's been an issue around the program, and that's not the type of player that the football program is necessarily recruiting. So my question is, I wonder if these coaches on campus, if they talk to each other, if they have relationships. I mean, he's surrounded by national championship coaches. I wonder if you guys know anything about that and what you think about that idea.
I like that question, Corey. I want to like almost stack something on top of it. Like something's had to change though in Leonard. To either have the confidence to go after these kids, or has he just recognized here in the last 6-7 years the kind of profile of player he needs to make this thing work?
Well, he's always had a strong culture. That is not a program that's ever really been embarrassing off the court. They've had a few incidences here and there, but that is not a program that's embarrassed Florida State fans, even when they weren't winning a lot. They still seem like good kids. He still graduated as players. What he did is he completely changed his style of play. Like they went to more of an up-tempo, not as defensive oriented. I mean, they still play great defense, but it wasn't a slog 51-50 every game. He changed the tempo. He at 68 years old, he changed his whole philosophy on how to coach a basketball team. And also, it just feeds itself, man. I don't know how else to describe it. It just feeds itself. Jalen Ramsey had a huge impact on that 2015 Florida State team, just because what he learned when he was on the 13 team, and it trickles down. I've said this before, but Tony Douglas. The effects of Tony Douglas on the Florida State basketball team was being felt 4 or 5 years later, because they saw how he worked when they were all freshmen and he was a senior, and they said, this is what Florida State basketball is. This is how we practice. This is how we play. And now Florida State basketball has taken that culture, really starting with Isaac, where it's completely selfless. 12 guys play. They all love being a part of the bench mob, and they celebrate it. That culture gets celebrated for whatever reason, but it's hard. It's basketball. It's 15 guys. It's not 85. But to the question, I don't know. I have not asked Krikorian if he's taught. I think Krikorian, Leonard Hamilton, Stu Simrau, those would be great people to ask about culture. Who?
Lonnie.
Yeah, Lonnie Alameda at the softball. They
I was thinking Aslan too. Yeah.
Yeah, those would be great coaches to learn from. I'm sure Norvell's talked to them. But I also think Norvell thinks he knows what he's doing when it comes to building a culture. Like he did it at Memphis, or he maintained it at Memphis. But as far as like just, I don't know. I don't know if I'm even answering the question. You could have just texted me this.
She waited
but
you've
like
been
giving me a hard time for not calling for a week.
I know, that was a real in-depth. That's a tough one. What do you think, Aslan? Like I don't know how to answer. Like I don't know that what you can learn from Leonard if you're a football coach, but you can learn something. Like it's so easy to root for those guys because they all root for each other. And how does that happen? It starts at the top. And, he also holds kids accountable. I forgot last year in a really important game, they played Syracuse without Devin Vassell. He just sat the whole game because he violated team rules. That kind of stuff matters. He is not afraid to sit a kid in an important game, even one of his best kids, and he will not talk about it. But we all know that Devin Vassell did something to get in trouble, and he did not play. And that's the kind of stuff that creates culture. You go to class or you don't play. He sat Brian Angola in for an exhibition game because he didn't go to practice. He didn't go to class. And he's like, man, what am I going to tell? He told me this story. He's like, what am I going to tell your mom if she finds out you just skipped class for a week? And I'm not saying he did. Whatever the story, whatever the situation was, that matters to Leonard Hamilton. And that's the one thing I think that Florida State fans can feel. She's interrupted me, Aslan. See what I mean? This is what it was back then.
She's a customer. Behind the customer's always right.
Sorry, I am talking a lot. You go ahead, Shannon. My fault.
We'll hear what it was really like.
Yeah. I get on these rolls.
I mean, the only thing I would say, kind of like in hindsight, maybe I almost appreciate what Willie tried to do because I don't think it was something he thought was going to take a lot of time. His whole culture was to come in here and let the guys start having fun and have joy playing football and put his arm around these guys, because that's what he said he saw when he watched film, was a team that just didn't play for each other, didn't necessarily have fun doing it. So that's kind of an easy, quick fix, right? Like,
what he didn't do that we thought he was, what he didn't do well that we thought he was going to do well, it didn't seem to really, the classroom stuff, that started out strong, but it didn't finish strong. And he didn't hold maybe the players as accountable at that side as they should have. And I do believe Norvell, when his whole edict, his whole credo for how he builds a program is how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Work. But the thing is, it's going to be more difficult. Like Norvell's thing is more, I don't know, like it's more of a foundational thing that you have to like break it and rebuild. Like I think we only thought he could throw a Band-Aid on it. Mike Norvell wants to tear it down and rebuild it, which most people seem to be on board with. We'll see how patient everyone's going to remain. But, yeah, this whole thing of him, like, running guys off, and it's all about working and getting 1% better. And, you know, this is going to be the most difficult thing you've ever done. That's what I tell recruits. Yeah, that's not gonna change in 8 months. Like, that's not going to be everyone's going to be, yeah, great, awesome. Yeah, you know what I love? I love having to work my rear end off and go 2-6 after all. Like,
but you know what it is? If it turns around, it's sustainable.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's the thing. You know, what Jimbo built ended up not being sustainable, at least that Jimbo. But what Dabo has built is sustainable. And so what this does with these pillars this foundation that he's trying to lay, if he can actually turn the corner and get this thing into a good program, and he builds it on these principles, I think that it is sustainable. Just like I think Leonard Hamilton is sustainable, and we know Krikorian has the best program on campus. And he just doesn't. There's pride in what they do. They also recruit great talent, but it's pride in what they do, and it's a Florida State way. Right now, what is the Florida State way in football? To leave early and to be bad at football. You know, that's what it is. To get blown out, leave early, and not be any good. So that's what's got to change. But it's got to be built from within.
All right, Shannon, thanks for calling. Corey tries to avoid you as much as he can. Then you follow him to his place of work. Kind of creepy. Yeah. But we appreciate the call. Good question.
Can't lose me. Thanks, guys.
We appreciate you. Shannon's a Nole, everybody, so give it up for her. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for the phone call.
Hardcore. You got it.
Yeah, all right. We got a couple more phone calls. We got a couple more.
Is one of them Stephanie?
Yeah, I know. Let me see it. We do have another call. It's not Stephanie, unfortunately.
Oh, that's too bad.
All right, let's see here. Everyone says they have a good question. So all right, here's Redbeard's question. Read it, Corey, and answer while I find this other person's question.
Okay. With things like the portal, kids being able to get paid, influencing how long a kid might stay at a school, where they might go. Can we honestly build another dynasty? I don't think so. Look, it's not happening. No, if you're talking about the dynasty on the level that it was 20 years ago here, no chance. I mean, you're not going to go. Who finished in the top 5 14 years in a row? That's unbelievable. That's not happening. I think Florida State can become a perennial power again because all these other schools have to deal with this too. Like, it's not just but Florida State still, again, they still have the cachet. I don't know if you know this, Aslan, but they're one of the biggest brands in the most marketable brands in the country. Isn't that what he says? Iconic. They're an iconic brand still. So 2013, 14 wasn't that long ago. Jalen Ramsey, Dalvin Cook, they're still playing. So I don't think you're never going to build that sustained success for like a 15-year run, but you can be a perennial power that has a down year occasionally, but you can get back to a consistent top 12 program. I don't think that counts as a dynasty, but you can become, I don't know, man, you can become name a school. Can you become Ohio State? Can you become Georgia? I think you can become Georgia. Georgia's always in the top 12 or 15. You can do that even with the portal. Because again, Florida State, if it's good, it gets a lot of players that it wants. We just got to see what it looks like when it gets good again, because it's been a long time.
You also have to have good coaches and a good network around you. I mean, like Dabo, you know, he went and got Venables. I mean, they swung big to get Venables, but, you know, offensively, Jeff Scott and Tony Elliott, those are guys that were kind of under the radar dudes that just kind of overshot their expectations and did really well. But yeah, that helps Nick. I mean, Nick just keeps reloading. He loses Kirby, he brings in Mel Tucker. He loses Mel Tucker. He brings in Josh Gaddis. He's always reloading with those coaches. He's got a good network built up. I do wonder what sort of network Mike Norvell does have if he has to make some changes. Lebo, Garnet, and Gold, do you guys think we have a shot at Cincinnati's DC or Coastal Carolinas? They've done pretty big things these last couple of years. Love the show, guys. Go Noles, beat Duke.
What was that?
Phone dropped. Greg in Boynton Beach, hang tight. I'm going to get us back in here. Corey, go ahead. Talk about this.
I mean, look, I don't – did they have a shot? Yeah, I feel like if they went and offered Coastal Carolina's defensive coordinator, he'd say, what time do you need me there? Like, what's he going to do? Hang in Myrtle Beach? Come on, man. Was he going to go to the Miracle Strip? What's that? I think that's an amusement park in Myrtle Beach. He's going to play golf, shag, the dance, not the British version of that word. So I think you could go get Coastal Carolina's guy pretty easily. Cincinnati's DC, I would think the same thing, quite honestly. What you have to do, though, on paper, you got a great defensive coordinator getting Michigan State's defensive coordinator. You know what I mean? Like, he would have been one of the bigger names on the market. Michigan State got to a playoff just on its defense. He had done great things, but it didn't work here. So you got to, just because he's the DC for a great defense, how much is he in control of that defense? How much of it is Fickle, like Luke Fickle, not the word Fickle, and how much is him? And then, you go from there. But I think that's what you have to ask yourself. But I would certainly think they better have somebody in mind if they're going to end up letting go of Adam Fuller. They do not need to do a nationwide search. He better have somebody already lined up. Those two guys, sure. The Liberty guy has ties to Mike Norvell. He was at Memphis a couple years ago, and their defense is not incredible, but certainly better than Florida State. So I think Florida State, look, I know it's a bad year. It's been a bad run. It still has the cachet where the Coastal Carolina or the Cincinnati DC, I think, would leave in a heartbeat to come be a Florida State defensive coordinator.
Sky Ninja wanted us to answer Redbeard's question, which we did. Sorry, Greg, I cannot get
Ninja again, bringing money, though. He's paying for Redbeard. We appreciate that, buddy.
Greg, sorry about that. I don't know if you're still watching. I can't get the phone call line back up, but he was asking why isn't Renardo Green playing cornerback? Renardo Green did play cornerback in high school. I mean, Norvell did mention they have some options, despite the fact that they're pretty thin at cornerback. Maybe he is one. But I like what he was doing at safety, I thought. I don't know if he really has the speed to be playing cornerback in this conference, but
I think that's what would happen, right? If they had to, they would have to put Renard. But, I mean, they think Renardo's a safety in the future, so they want him to play safety these last two games because they're valuable game reps. And you just hope one of these cornerbacks doesn't go down, and you can live with three of them.
Robert Rainey throws $5 our way. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate you. Quotes the great Bill Peterson. We're all in this together, and don't you remember it? Thanks for all you guys do.
The Yogi Berra of football coaches.
Jeff Hill, what do you guys think the chances Wake Up Jeremy Pruitt is available? Would he be a good fit here? Is it a defensive coordinator again or a Charlie Strong? I don't know. While we try to digest that question,
dollar bills, y'all.
No, that is a scary avatar. Holy moly!
I'll take Jeremy Pruitt. I'm crazy. Like, I don't know if I want Will Muschamp, Charlie Strong, or like a mid-major guy that's really done well. I don't know if I want to retread. Like, I'll take.
I was wondering about that too because I think it was Wes that was talking about Charlie Strong, and it's like I'm trying to think, and I know they're probably great examples. I just can't get past Bo Pelini. Like, these defensive minds that become head coaches and then go back to being a defensive coordinator. Are there a lot of examples of that working and working well? Because it's certainly not working at LSU. And I don't know that Charlie Strong, after being, a defensive coordinator is just such a different job than a head coach. It's a lot more nuts and bolts and grinding. And when you've been a head coach, are you going to do that? Are you going to be I don't know. I just don't know the guys that have coached at a really high level, head coach wise. Not that they coached at a high level, but they got big time jobs. Make great defensive coordinators for an up and coming program, which is what Florida State is now. That'd be a worry too. But again, I think if you get Jeremy Pruitt, you're not going to say no if he says he wants to come to Florida State. It's just, again, that's a dynamic that you have to wonder about. How hard is he going to work? How committed is he? How committed is he to get Mike Norvell's team back to winning football games again, as opposed to his own team? I don't know.
You said it before, though. You come here and you fix this defense, you can get another head coaching job. Like Mike McIntyre was a guy that was a Colorado Coach of the Year in the Pac-12 and then dipped off a year or two. They let him go. He became defensive coordinator at Ole Miss last year. So, like, there's a little bit of that. Hey, like, I was a head coach. I'm going to take marching orders from Matt Luke. You're the interim coach. You only got this job because you kind of improbably won the Egg Bowl when Hugh Freeze got dismissed in the middle of the season or before the season started. But, like, yeah, Ole Miss, I don't know, like, where you go. If you do a good job as the DC at Ole Miss, you're still not probably getting a head coaching job. But if you come and fix Florida State, you'll get a head coaching job probably. So I don't know if that's an issue. But I don't know. But then again, I'm like, hey, I would like to hear like a new name, somebody kind of off the beaten path. But then that's kind of what Adam Fuller was, and here's where we are right now. Here's everybody giving your wife or ex-wife rather all these compliments. Great call, Daryl says.
She's in charge of ex-wives of Warchant. She's the charter member.
Uwatu says, super good question, really thought-provoking. All these people, everyone loves Shanna. Ed Lamox, what's going on, Ed? Let's go, man.
Everybody loves Ed.
Hopefully there's a cool sticker if you're watching us on YouTube as we wind the show down. I think the portal will pick up and recruiting is picking up. Come on, Norvell.
I like it. Be positive, Ed. I like it. The portal, that's again, it's unlike any. A lot of us are of a certain age where this is brand new to us. This is foreign. This is a weird way to follow a football team, to a college football team, to cheer for one, to cover one, where the roster can have so much shifting from one year to another. You don't know who's staying, and you don't know who's coming. But it's transfer season, and it's going to be transfer season. So there's always hope. There's more hope than there would have been if this was 2004. Like, because, you could get the cavalry could be coming. You could get 8 players that could be in your starting lineup next year. How many times would you get that out of a freshman class? Like, Miami got in the transfer portal, they got 6 guys, 7 guys?
I mean, quarterback, kicker, defensive end, offensive
2
tackle.
defensive ends, an offensive tackle. Yeah, so at least 6 guys, 4 of which will probably be all ACC. In one recruiting cycle, apparently, in 1 year on one recruiting cycle. That could never happen. You'd have to build up slowly. Now you can find starters very quickly. So in that regard, yeah, man, the transfer portal should excite you a little bit. You could do some quick fixes and then hopefully build from there. But it's just crazy. It's so unique, right? This wasn't even a thing 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And now it's like it's just commonplace. Well, who's in the transfer portal? I think I saw there's like 150 guys in the transfer portal, and we're in early December.
Yeah, I mean, but not everybody ends up finding a job. I mean, like whatever happened to Nasir Upshur, whatever happened to Amir Rasul. I think Amir Rasul enrolled at Middle Tennessee State and then never even played for them. And what happened to Alex Marshall? And what happened to all these guys?
What happened to Deshaun Platt?
What did happen to Deshaun Platt? Daryl says, bring in Notre Dame's defensive coordinator, pay them up.
You'd have to pay him more than you pay Norvell. Yeah. Like if Norvell could go and say, look, I will, because he makes 3.7, 3.8. Like, I'll cut it down again, not just COVID year cut. I'll cut it down to 2 again. Go pay my man 1.8 plus whatever you're paying Fuller. So 2.6 to come be the coordinator. He can be paid more than I am. I don't think that's going to happen. That is, again, Texas A&M has Elko.
But see, Jimbo, not to hype up Jimbo, like Jimbo really did like Mike Elko for a while. Like I wonder if there's somebody out there that Mike Norvell knows about. Because Elko did go to Notre Dame, and that's what made him like a made man. Like not what he did at Wake Forest. I mean, Wake Forest got into Notre Dame, but that's Jimbo pulled him away from Notre Dame. Like I don't know if Jimbo could have ever sold this fan base on we're going to get the Wake Forest defensive coordinator. But that's kind of like that's the kind of path I would like to see Mike Norvell go. I just hope he has a good eye and has contacts and knows somebody that's at least maybe Power 5 level.
One of the reasons that Charles Kelly got the job was that he became the interim DC at Georgia Tech in 2012, and that was the game where Florida State played them in the championship game and beat them like 21-16 or something, but didn't score on them in the second half. And so then he hired Charles Kelly the next year as the linebacker special teams coach. But I think always had in his mind, okay, if we need to make a change, I trust this guy as my defensive coordinator because I saw what he did at Georgia Tech. So I think Florida State fans hearing that be like, okay, so you really like Mike Elko, but not enough to bring him in instead of Charles Kelly.
Right.
Well, but Jimbo might still be here if he had made that hire back in like 14, but he didn't.
Yeah. Jarek Scott says he used to hate me, but now he doesn't. That's cool. Thank you, man.
Hey, Jarek, I'm with you.
Happy holidays. Max and Betty Hall helping out. Mike McIntyre is currently defensive coordinator at Memphis. So, yeah.
We stay away from the Memphis DCs.
He went from head coach. He won his division at the Pac-12, and then 3 years later, he's now a Power 5 coordinator.
It's just how it works. And is he doing a good job? I would imagine. I want to do research on head coaches that didn't go back to defensive coordinators and what that looks like.
They're 105th in total.
Yeah, but that's Memphis. They didn't have a lot of groceries to work with either. But I do wonder what that does to the mindset of a DC from a guy like Jeremy Pruitt. Is Jeremy Pruitt going to be a DC again anywhere but other than Alabama?
Right.
And would he be willing to? And would he be any good at it? When he's not I don't know. It's an interesting situation when you've been fired as a head coach and you go back to being a coordinator.
There you go. Gator Kirk cursing this time, telling people to hit the like button if they haven't already. But that's it. Again, the phone line. Sorry about that. Greg from Boynton Beach had asked about Renardo Green, which we talked about. Let's go ahead and end the show on that side of things and hear the cool message. Oh, it doesn't play it anymore. It used to say now the show is over, but it doesn't now. But anyway.
We should have ended with a Shanna call anyway.
Yeah, that was the way to go out. Everybody loves Shanna, by the way. Thanks to all of our callers, including the aforementioned Shanna Clark Bonagino, a.k.a. Shanna Clark.
I used to introduce her to people when we were married as my first wife. So she saw the writing on the wall.
I have a buddy who apparently they were out after this event and accidentally called, and he wasn't big on getting married, but he got married, and he referred to his wife as his girlfriend.
Oh, that's worse.
And apparently she was not happy about that at all.
After the ceremony and everything, this is my girlfriend.
So we'll see how that goes. Well, not at the wedding ceremony, but they've been married for a year now.
Yeah, no, I'm still saying that it would still even come into his brain to call her his girlfriend.
Yeah, but anywho. We appreciate everybody who donated or tipped us, rather. I don't want to say donate, tipped us. Ed Lamox, Jeff Hill, Robert Rainey, Sky Ninja, Gator Kirk, Ray Pereira, Mark Adamczyk, Derek Adams, Big Mac 3310, Willie Johnson, Brandon Harris, and Thomas Giddings. Do stay connected to warchant.com. Wednesday, we will be having interviews with head coach Mike Norvell. I already forgot the question I'm supposed to ask him, Corey. Do you remember the question I told you to remind me to ask him?
No.
All right, well, I'll think of it or whatever. We'll ask him that. Corey will be doing the live transcription. Florida State has a basketball game Wednesday night, ACC Big Ten Challenge, 7:15.
Yep.
It's Indiana. So that'd be super cool. And recruiting chat going on with Michael Langston, but it's for subscribers only. So use that promo code WARCHANT30 so you can get in on that. Thanks to everybody again for tuning in, hitting the thumbs up, calling, tipping us. Corey's going to put the hood up. Flash of deuces. We're done, everybody. Thanks for listening to Wake Up Warchant presented by Zaxby's. Indescribably good.